This insider believes that the Chicago Bears will make a shocking pick in round one of the upcoming 2026 NFL Draft. And today's episode of Geek on the Mic starts right now.
Cali, the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Geek on the Mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Geek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. First and foremost, happy Thursday to every single one of you guys. We are so close to the weekend, and once again, it is absolutely blazing here in California. We have finally reached 80-degree weather, so let me know how hot it is where you're living right now, but it's definitely warm weather here in California. So on today's episode of Geek on the Mic, we have a very interesting topic of discussion that may make some of you guys mad, and I rightfully so. Going into the NFL Draft, the Bears are loaded with premium picks in the top 100. They have a first-round pick at 25, 2 second-round picks at 57 and 60, and a third-round pick at 89. So 4 picks within the top 100, and everyone around the National Football League is expecting the Bears to add to the defense in round one. Whether it's the best safety available, whether it's the best defensive tackle, or even edge rusher available, the expectation is that the Chicago Bears will continue to add to the defensive side of the football. But now there is a little bit of a twist because college insider Joel Klatt actually predicts the Bears will make a surprise pick and select wide receiver Jordyn Tyson out of Arizona State. Check this out, Bears fans.
All right, 25. Bears are up. I think the Bears would have loved a guy like Omar Cooper, and I look at them, and they traded away DJ Moore. They got a second-round pick back from Buffalo. They can grab a replacement right here on the outside. How about Jordyn Tyson from Arizona State? I like that. Jordyn Tyson is a big-body guy. I love him. You can team him up with Rome Odunze and Colston Loveland for Caleb Williams in Ben Johnson's offense. I like the idea of big targets for Caleb Williams because you remember Caleb is going to improvise. He played within the structure of the offense better than he has in his career this last year. That's why he flourished. But he's always still going to improvise, even in that playoff game. He's making incredible plays outside of the pocket. Well, when that happens, I think the guys that really make a lot of sense are big-body guys. Colston Loveland, big body. Rome Odunze, he's a bigger player. He can body people up. Then you've got Jordyn Tyson as well. I think that's a good fit. Jordyn Tyson to the Bears, they're at 25.
First and foremost, Bears fans, the initial reaction from most of you guys would be absolutely hell no. And once again, I understand that the Chicago Bears traded away wide receiver DJ Moore, and you can really make an argument that maybe the Chicago Bears didn't really want to get rid of wide receiver DJ Moore, but they were strained in cap space. You know, they saved $16.5 million by shipping off DJ Moore. They got the second round pick number 60 overall in the 2026 NFL Draft in return from the Buffalo Bills. But you could make the argument that maybe Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears did not want to trade DJ Moore, and that's why Joel Klatt is even bringing this into discussion of Jordyn Tyson being a Chicago Bear in round one of the 2026 NFL Draft. But when you currently look at the Chicago Bears roster in the wide receiver room, they are still loaded with talent. Rome Odunze, right? You think about last season before he broke his foot, he was leading the league in touchdowns, right? He was an absolute menace, looking really good. The chemistry between him and Caleb Williams is really lighting up the league. And then he got hurt and then just didn't really finish the season as strong. Of course, Luther Burden had a really good second half of the season. The Bears really eased him in. A lot of upside with Luther Burden. Of course, Colston Loveland was probably a top 3 tight end at the end of last year. You still have Cole Kmet. And then a lot of people will even say Ja'Day Walker made a lot of flashes, and we would love to see him get a bigger role within the Chicago Bears offense. And you know, once again, a lot of Bears fans will say, well, Keek, the Bears can't afford to neglect the defense in round one. They need to get the best safety, you know, because they really are trying to overhaul that room. They signed Kobe Bryant, but they let guys like Kevin Byard walk. They let Jaquan Brisker walk. So the best safety is there, like Dylan Dienneman out of Oregon or Emmanuel out of Toledo as well. They needed to get one of those guys or get the best D tackle or edge rusher to pair with Montez Sweat and Austin Booker. They cannot neglect the defense once again. But to Joel Klatt's point, and we have to consider to play devil advocate here as well. I understand why Ben Johnson and the Bears would be interested in a guy like Jordyn Tyson if he were to fall to pick number 25 in round 1 of the NFL draft. You have to ask yourself, Bears fans, if Jordyn Tyson is there at 25, would he then become the best player available on the Chicago Bears draft board? Let's give a couple of examples. For example, last year in the 2025 NFL draft, not one mock draft had Colston Loveland to the Chicago Bears. Everyone thought the Bears would either get Tyler Warren or Amar Membu, the tackle, remember. When we got to the NFL draft, they went and got Colston Loveland at 10th overall. Everyone was making fun of the pick, and now look how that situation turned out with Colston Loveland being one of the better young tight ends in the National Football League, paired with Ben Johnson in Chicago. Now you fast forward and you think about the vision and what Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson are trying to accomplish. The Bears have been, for the most part, with Ryan Poles, they usually draft for need, but ever since Ben Johnson has come into the fold, they have been very adamant about drafting the best player on their board. What that means, Bears fans, even if they have a need at D-end, even if they have a need at D-tackle, even if they have a massive need at safety, it doesn't matter. They're taking Jordyn Tyson because he would then be the best player on their board. So there's a couple different scenarios, like even with Luther Burden, for example. At 39 last year, that wasn't their top need at that point. You could have made an argument that they could have took the best running back. They had more of a need at running back, but Luther Burden was the best player available on their board. He dropped to them. So of course they're going to take the best player available. So the Bears are definitely operating with a different vision in mind. And for the first time in a long time, I think their main priority is continuing to build around Caleb Williams to make sure that he can be the best version of himself he can be for the Chicago Bears. Let's also not forget that you can never have enough weapons in the National Football League. It's an offensive league now, and of course, we all know we have a need on the defensive side of the football, but it's an offensive league. And remember what Caleb Williams said to Max Crosby when he went on Max Crosby's podcast, is that they have a goal in mind to be the best offense in NFL history. They're trying to chase that 2013 Denver Broncos offense where they scored, 36, 37 points per game. And how do you accomplish that? You continue to add to the offense. You continue to add dynamic playmakers. And Jordyn Tyson is exactly that. And I would understand if at 25, if Jordyn Tyson fell, and there is reasons why Jordyn Tyson is falling, right? He's dealt with his fair share of injuries, health issues with his knee, collarbone, and hamstring issues across 3 seasons. But this guy is a certified baller. You talk about in 2024, 75 catches, 1,100 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. He's followed that up with 61 catches, 711 yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns. The dude is a certified baller. He is built for the National Football League, and he is obviously a Ben Johnson type of receiver. 6'2", 200 pounds. Route running is smooth. His quickness and agility allows him to play inside or outside, so has that positional versatility that can allow Ben Johnson to put him everywhere along the field. He has great body control to make tough contested catches, willing blocker in the run game as well. He's really just a matchup nightmare. He wins every single route, right? He's always open. It gives Caleb Williams another big body receiver. So I understand why Joel Klatt predicted that, knowing that, the Bears kind of still have a need with trading away DJ Moore and the uncertainty with Roma Dunze with his health issues. And then Luther Burden, will he have, a really good second year? I know he had a good rookie year, but will he have another good year in second year with the Bears? Same with Colston Loveland as well. So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. I know personally that the Chicago Bears need defense. We all know that the Chicago Bears need defense, but that's not how Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, and the Chicago Bears are operating at this point. If Jordyn Tyson is there, and let's say it's Jordyn Tyson with Peter Woods and maybe Zion Young, who are you taking, Bears fans? Are you taking the Zion Young just because we need an edge rusher, or are you taking the best player available on the board, which would be Jordyn Tyson at that point? You have to understand that Jordyn Tyson in this year's NFL draft is probably the best receiver, at least one of the best receivers in this draft class. If he drops to 25, and I know once again he has an injury history, but if he drops to 25, it's almost like a gift for the Chicago Bears. You're adding yet another weapon to continue to make your offense more dynamic. And what I kind of sit here and think about as a Bears fan. And I know initially we'd probably be pissed because, the Bears need defense, but you have to trust Ben Johnson. You have to trust their vision. At that point, they'd be taking the best player available. And what kind of eases the pain if the Chicago Bears did go that route, if Jordyn Tyson did fall to 25 and they went Tyson with their first round pick? You still have 2 second-round picks at pick 57 and 60 in a very deep defensive tackle edge rusher draft class where you can still address the defensive needs as well, even at safety linebacker, right? So the Bears are loaded with premium picks. So this is something that they definitely could do. Do I think Jordyn Tyson actually drops to 25? Absolutely not. But it would be a really interesting choice for the Bears to consider, and something that I believe that Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles and the Bears would consider if Jordyn Tyson was there at 25. So Bears fans, let me know down below in the comment section how you feel about what Joel Klatt had to say. Would you guys take Jordyn Tyson, wide receiver at Arizona State, if he was there at 25, or you think the Chicago Bears should go defense no matter what in round 1? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.